2026 is stacking up with a wide mix of high-profile releases and promising new projects already turning heads. From major sequels to bold new ideas, the upcoming lineup covers multiple genres and playstyles. Let's get into it!
Куда мы едем, бро?
Не знаю.
Кажется, мы в зазеркалье.
P.O.N is a first-person co-op crime horror game where players act as criminals, completing tasks for a syndicate inside heavily guarded locations. The gameplay focuses on stealth, teamwork, and careful noise control while staying connected through a tactical tablet. A major mechanic is a powerful AI that hunts players with unpredictable attacks, forcing groups to stay alert and support each other. The game also features online co-op and a procedurally generated multi-floor level designed for replayability.
Ты где? О, сейчас приду.
Спасибо, бро, что спас меня. 3 часа ждал тебя. Где сумка моя?
Да что-то не видно. Ладно, валим отсюда. Куда идти вообще нам?
Ну я не знаю, бро, я ничего не вижу вообще. Я слепой. Что?
Жим!
Рада, меня сейчас захуярит. Я
Сука!
Меня, wait, бро.
Забегаем, забегаем! Прощай, бро.
Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival is a first-person action horror survival game where players control Aiden as he uses the Genesis configuration puzzle box to rescue his girlfriend from the labyrinth. Gameplay combines weapon combat with special abilities granted by the box, allowing players to confront cultists, creatures, and Cenobite followers. The system revolves around managing these powers while facing dangerous enemies, including the iconic Pinhead, within a story-driven structure built around survival and combat encounters.
Sometimes the things we think we need are not all that good for us.
As you say, I have witnessed you, Aiden Lynch. You crave what we offer, your desires so plentiful. Give in to your thirst.
Such delicious torment. It is done. She belongs to the labyrinth now. But perhaps we can come to an arrangement.
What do you want from me?
Aiden Lynch. You will give yourself to our purpose. All that you are. Let us begin.
Cthulhu. The Cosmic Abysses is a story-driven investigative adventure set in 2053, where players control Noah as he investigates the disappearance of miners in a deep Pacific facility. Gameplay centers on clue gathering, puzzle solving, and decision-making while working alongside the AI companion Key. Players must manage a sanity system influenced by cosmic horrors while navigating the sunken city of R'lyeh. The game uses branching paths and complex mysteries to shape how the case unfolds.
Stop her, I swear. That's why I broke the artifact. It caught up to us and then...
Another one of those. Finally. Just you wait.
Gothic 1 Remake is an action RPG that retells the original story inside the Valley of the Mines, where players control the nameless hero trapped within a prison colony. The game features a handcrafted open world that reacts to player actions, with NPCs and wildlife running on daily routines. Progression is shaped through faction choices, expanded quest lines, and a modernized combat system. Players must survive dangerous enemies while developing skills and navigating the colony's shifting power structure.
And is quickly dulled. And yet, instinct whispers that those cast aside will shape their days to come. A colony in perpetual conflict, so divided, so full of contradictions. Those who follow the new god speak of salvation, but faith may have an even grimmer future in store. The bandits preach freedom, anarchy without chains, yet kneel before the mages in the name of balance. Then come the self-proclaimed rulers of the valley, so lost in greed and in the comfort of their fragile arrangement that they long lost any interest in change. And yet, we are all the same, prisoners of the great dome in the sky, with no hope of escaping.
If there's a way out of here, I'll find it.
Silent Hill Townfall is a first-person psychological horror game where players control Simon Ordell as he returns to the island town of St. Amelia to uncover hidden truths. Gameplay mixes tense evasion, limited combat, and narrative-driven puzzles while players use tools like the CRTV Pocket Television to detect unstable signals. Progress depends on careful survival and investigation as fragments of the past emerge. The game is structured as a self-contained story set in Scotland in 1996.
I woke up in the water again. But this time it's different. I keep trying to fix what happened. No matter what I do,
you can't fix it. It doesn't let us change things. You did what you did.
Ill is a first-person action survival horror game set inside a research fort overrun by a mysterious entity and hostile aberrations. Gameplay centers on intense combat supported by a detailed dismemberment system, realistic physics, and binaural audio that heightens awareness of threats. Players must manage weapons, check for defects, and use crafting and inventory decisions to stay alive. Enemy behavior reacts dynamically to player actions and the environment, creating unpredictable encounters during combat and puzzle situations.
안녕하세요. 갓세이브 버밍엄의 크리에이티브 디렉터 차현성입니다. 안녕하세요. 갓세이브 버밍엄의 프로덕션.
God Save Birmingham is a zombie survival game set in a detailed 14th century version of Birmingham where players must stay alive as the last survivor in a plague-ravaged town. Gameplay revolves around managing hunger, thirst, and shelter while gathering supplies and crafting tools. Physics-based mechanics allow players to barricade doors, manipulate objects, and disable enemies in creative ways. The sandbox structure supports open-ended survival, with a partial town available first and a larger environment planned later.
We developed a guide that provides helpful information and natural progression goals when starting the game. The guide introduces the player character, setting, and premise. It serves as a tutorial that teaches the player what they can do and presents your character's thoughts and goals based on the current situation. You can think of it as a content system that fulfills the role of both tutorials and quests typically found in survival games. Next, let's look at what was developed regarding weapons and combat, which many players have shown an interest and given feedback about during the pre-alpha test. In the alpha build, one-handed blunt weapons have been implemented. These include clubs, maces, and hammers. Since they have no blades, they're not well suited to cutting off zombie limbs, but they are effective for attacking the head. Setting them further apart from other weapon types, they can also stagger zombies and momentarily hinder their movement. A wide range of tools will be included in this weapon category, from actual weapons like maces to everyday tools like rolling pins. We've also added a scythe as an available weapon in the alpha build. Scythes often appear as flashy weapons in medieval fantasy games, but in our game, they're actually an agricultural tool being used as a weapon. That said, it's a tool familiar to farmers. If you swing it with more force than you would when cutting grass, it can slice through a zombie's leg or knock them down. When we were creating the swing animation for the scythe, we referred heavily to real scythe handling motions used in farming. Objects in the game now have durability. If you use weapons or tools for a long time, their durability will decrease and they'll break. You'll need to stockpile materials for repairs or keep spare equipment on hand to survive. Durability also applies to locked doors and barricades. If you encounter a locked house you want to loot, you can kick or attack the door to break it open. Conversely, if it's your own shelter, you'll need to manage the durability of doors and barricades to prevent zombie intrusion. Weapons or tools that use blades now have sharpness to manage. If a blade becomes dull, it will be less effective for killing zombies. After spending the day scavenging and fighting, you can return to your shelter and sharpen your worn blades before going to sleep to prepare for the next day's survival. Based on feedback from the pre-alpha test, we've improved the game's aiming system so the player's melee attacks will now accurately hit the point your mouse reticle is aimed at. Combat in God Save Birmingham is designed so that the character strikes exactly where the player intends, and zombies react differently depending on which body part is hit. This encourages players to strategically choose target areas and develop precision in hitting those exact spots. Allowing the main character to precisely strike arbitrary points based on the player's aim in a third-person melee system with a behind-the-back camera and realistic animation has been a big technical challenge. This wasn't polished enough in the pre-alpha build, which resulted in a less satisfying combat experience. We've also kicked off full-scale development on the crafting system. To survive in a village overrun by zombies, securing your doors is extremely important. In the alpha build, the door system has been further enhanced. You can now lock doors with a latch, preventing zombies outside from simply pushing their way in. If a building has entrances you don't intend to use, you can fully block them with nails and boards to make your shelter safer. On the flip side, many houses in the village will now be found locked or barricaded. You'll need tools to either break or dismantle obstacles in order to get in and loot supplies, and it will take time to accomplish either way. We took our first steps towards a system that allows players to construct and place various survival-related structures. You can now build things like fire pits and drying racks wherever you want. Right now, only a few basic craftables and constructions are available, but many more will be added throughout development. Save Birmingham is a survival simulation game, where a key part of gameplay is managing the player character's health and related status effects. In the alpha build, we've further refined the health management system and would like to share the improvements. If you leave your wounds untreated, linger too long in a cold environment, or if your body gets too dirty, you may catch a disease. Diseases range from mild illness like colds that impose small penalties, to deadly ones like plague that can kill you and end the game. When your character is bitten by zombies or falls from high places, they'll take injuries that need to be properly treated. Apply ointment and wrap wounds, and replace wraps until wounds heal. If neglected, your character may suffer severe damage from bleeding or infection. Your character will gradually become dirty during gameplay, particularly when they get splattered with blood from killing zombies or take a fall in a muddy area. To clean up, you can wash yourself in the stream or a basin of water. Neglect your hygiene for too long, and your character may catch a cold or some other infectious disease, resulting in various penalties. Save Birmingham is being developed with the goal of presenting a vivid, realistic, and intricate visual depiction of the player character's movements as they engage in various survival activities. This includes animations for things like wrapping and unwrapping wounds on various body parts, pouring water from a container to wash your body, chopping ingredients into a stew pot, and sharpening the blade of a scythe or axe. During the development of the alpha build, we've implemented a framework that allows for more diverse and detailed movement animations. We plan to continue expanding the variety of movement animations from now until the game's launch.
알파빌드를 개발하는 기간 동안 저번 테스트에서 여러분들께서 남겨주신 피드백이 많은 도움이 되었습니다. 이번 플레이 테스트에도 참여해주시고 피드백 남겨주시면 저희가 앞으로 개발을 하는데 많은 도움이 될 것 같습니다. 감사합니다.
Turok Origins is a third-person action shooter where players control Turok warriors battling dinosaurs and an alien threat across multiple planets. Gameplay combines ranged weapons, melee attacks, and special abilities, with both solo and online co-op play supported. A key progression system allows players to extract DNA from defeated enemies to unlock new powers and upgrade their suit. Combat takes place across varied environments, including jungles, temples, swamps, and caves filled with different enemy types. Resonant Q is a third-person cosmic horror survival action game for 1 to 3 players set on a collapsing orbital ring above Earth. Players take the role of Volts and run high-risk missions to hunt anomalies and recover loot. A single energy resource powers weapons, abilities, scanning, and life support, forcing constant trade-offs. Recovered materials are brought back to a persistent base for crafting and upgrades, with both solo and online co-op play supporting the extraction-based structure.
Traded for salvage and fragments of volatile energy.
My suit energy's almost out. I don't know if we can make it home.
That energy powers each run, but it was never ours to control. Nothing here obeys intent. It responds to pressure, presence, resonance.
Another mindfuck place. Shit.
Some anomalies only react. Others are waiting for company. Survival isn't winning. Survival is leaving on time.
Are we still on the ring?
Control Resonant is an action-adventure RPG set in a warped version of Manhattan where players control Dylan Faden during a paranatural crisis. Gameplay combines supernatural abilities, environmental interaction, and a shape-shifting melee weapon called the Aberrant to fight evolving threats. Progression allows players to develop Dylan's powers and adjust combat style while navigating gravity anomalies and distorted areas. The structure centers on story-driven missions as Dylan confronts cosmic forces and searches for answers about the unfolding crisis.
Resonant, the game-changing sequel to Control. What you are seeing here is an early mission captured from our in-development build. We play as Dylan Faden, our supernaturally gifted hero, in a version of Manhattan like you haven't seen before. We recently acquired Shift, an ability that empowers Dylan to seamlessly move through gravity anomalies and adapt to the world around him. Here we are showcasing a set of different forms of Dylan's main weapon, the Aberrant, can take, and his supernatural abilities. There are a lot of different ones you can discover to suit your playstyle. While in combat, we encourage you to play aggressively, balancing between melee attacks and abilities.
Any updates for me?
Kind of. You'll know it when you hear it. Just try to stay alive out there, okay?
Almost there, Zoe. What the hell is that thing? Something. I know where the Resonant is, Zoe. I'll call you back.
Resonants are the dominant threat in what's our most ambitious game to date. And we can't wait to share it with you later in 2026.
Untitled John Wick game is a third-person single-player action title that places players in the role of John Wick within an original story set in the franchise timeline. Gameplay centers on fast gun-fu combat that combines precise gunplay, close-quarters fighting, and martial arts in choreographed encounters. The game also includes driving segments and detailed neon noir environments designed to support cinematic action. Players progress through story missions while facing both familiar and new characters connected to the High Table.
Capable. Adaptable. He must be grounded, stable, constant. I believe you are ready, sir.
Yeah.
Brace yourself!
007 First Light is an action-adventure espionage game that follows a young James Bond during his early time in MI6 training. Gameplay allows players to approach missions through stealth, direct combat, gadget use, or deception while pursuing a rogue agent. Players will take part in story-driven operations across multiple locations, including driving sequences and infiltration scenarios. Progression reflects Bond's development as he works with his mentor to uncover a conspiracy threatening the state.
Need I state the obvious? He is not ready.
James, the service is over.
You're a rare breed, Bond. I should be interested to see what you do next.
009 will employ every manner of subterfuge to avoid capture.
Try not to draw attention to yourself.
Me? Housekeeping, I presume?
You seem the kind of guy who knows what he likes.
So you won't do anything stupid?
Of course not. I'm not an idiot.
Agents have very short life expectancy. And if you do...
Project Windless is a single-player, third-person, open-world action RPG based on the Korean novel series The Bird That Drinks Tears. Players control a recon warrior in a war-torn fantasy setting inhabited by 4 non-human races, including the Toab, Naga, humans, and recon. Combat emphasizes large-scale, fast battles similar to Dynasty Warriors, while progression unfolds across a vast world set 1,500 years before the novels. The structure encourages optional discovery alongside main story objectives.
This world was never yours to keep. How dare you stand in the way of purity, little king?